You know what the problem is with humans. They never look dangerous. Not at first, anyway. Trust me on this one. I have seen my share of species that could end you before you even registered the threat. The Krell with their acid spit. The Thoraxians with those bladed limbs that could slice through hull plating. But humans, they look soft, vulnerable, almost laughable when you first lay eyes on them. I was there that day on the command deck of the war cruiser Terminus, second officer to General Vex, a Draxian warrior who had conquered 17 systems without breaking a sweat. Well, we do not actually sweat, but you get the point. Vex was 7 feet of scaled muscle, with mandibles that could crush titanium, and a tactical mind that had never lost a battle. Never. The pride of the Draxian Empire, they called him, and there she stood in the detention field, a human girl, maybe 20 cycles old by their reckoning. Her name was something simple, Mara, I think. Yeah, Mara Volt. She wore the tattered remains of a colony jumpsuit, her dark hair matted with dust and blood that was not her own. Her hands hung loosely at her sides, and those strange human eyes, green like some poisonous plant, just stared at Vex with this calm that made my skin crawl. So, Vex circled her slowly, his claws clicking against the metal deck. This is what remains of Colony 17. One single human. The detention field hummed between them, that blue shimmer the only thing keeping her contained. Or so we thought. Honestly, I should have paid more attention to the fact that she did not look scared. Not even a little bit. Your colony resisted Imperial annexation, Vex continued, his voice that deep rumble that usually made prisoners wet themselves. 43,000 settlers. Where are they now, human? Mara tilted her head slightly. Dead, mostly. Some got away on the transport ships before your bombardment turned the settlement into glass. And yet you stayed. Vex leaned closer to the field, his reptilian eyes narrowing. Why? She smiled then, not a big smile, just this tiny upturn of her lips that somehow felt more threatening than any weapon I had ever seen. Someone had to make sure you knew you made a mistake. The bridge crew laughed. Actual laughter. Even I chuckled because come on, this tiny human making threats. Vex had 600 soldiers on this ship alone. We had plasma cannons that could crack a moon. And she was going to make us regret something? Vex was not amused, though. He raised one clawed hand. Execute her. Now! That is when things got interesting. The detention officer, a Quellan named Brix, moved to the control panel. Standard procedure. Increase the field density until it crushes whatever is inside. Clean, quick, no mess to speak of. His 3-fingered hand hovered over the execution command. Wait. Mara spoke softly, but somehow her voice carried across the entire bridge. Before you do that, can I ask you something, General? Exel made this clicking sound that was basically a Draxian laugh. You want last words? How quaint. Very well, human. Speak. Do you know what humans used to hunt back on Earth before we went to space? Nobody answered. Honestly, who cared? Everything, Mara continued. We hunted animals 10 times our size, 20 times. We chased prey until their hearts exploded from exhaustion. We made tools to kill things that could snap us in half. And when we ran out of things to hunt, she paused and that smile got wider. We hunted each other, for sport, for food, for fun. Fascinating history lesson. Vex gestured to Brix again. Execute her. Brix pressed the button. The detention field intensified, that blue shimmer turning almost white with the power surge. I have seen this process before. Bones crack first, then organs rupture, then the whole body just compresses into something you need a mop for. Mara did not compress, though. She moved. I still cannot explain exactly what happened next because it occurred so fast that my brain needed several seconds to process the sequence of events. One moment she was inside the field. The next moment she was not. The detention field just, what is the word? Shattered. Exploded outward in a shower of energy sparks that sent Brix flying backward across the bridge. How did she do it? Later, much later, I found out that humans have this thing they call adrenaline, a chemical their bodies produce under stress that temporarily makes them faster, stronger, capable of things that should be physically impossible. Mothers lifting ground vehicles off their children, that sort of thing. Mara had apparently spent the 3 days since her capture deliberately starving herself, dehydrating herself, putting her body under so much stress that when the moment came, when she needed it, her system flooded with so much adrenaline that she became something else entirely. But I am getting ahead of myself. She covered the distance between the detention platform and Vex in less than a second. One of the security officers tried to shoot her. Tried. She twisted mid-sprint, the plasma bolt missing her head by maybe an inch, and then she was there, right in front of the most decorated general in the Draxian military. Vex was fast too, give him credit. His hand came up, claws extended, going for her throat. He was a trained killer with centuries of combat experience. Mara was faster. Her hand, just her bare hand, shot forward and caught Vex's wrist. The sound of his bones breaking echoed across the suddenly silent bridge. He roared, mandibles spreading wide. That roar that was supposed to paralyze prey with fear. She headbutted him, just straight up cracked her forehead into his face with enough force that his mandibles shattered. Purple blood sprayed everywhere. Vex staggered back, shock and pain written across his features, and for the first time in his long military career, I think he realized he might actually lose a fight. "You are right," Mara said, her voice still calm despite the blood now dripping down her face. "We are soft. We are vulnerable. We do not have scales or claws or acid spit." She grabbed Vex by his uniform collar with both hands. "But we have something better. We have spite." Then she threw him. A human. A creature maybe a third his mass. Threw a 7-foot Draxian general across the command deck like he was a toy. He crashed into the tactical station, the metal buckling under the impact, sparks flying as systems shorted out. The bridge erupted into chaos. Security officers were drawing weapons, soldiers rushing from their posts, everyone shouting orders that nobody was following. I just stood there frozen, watching this human girl stand calmly in the center of it all while the most powerful military force in this sector panicked around her. Commander Thax, the tactical officer, made the mistake of trying to grab her from behind. She did not even look, just dropped low, twisted, and somehow flipped him over her shoulder. All 300 pounds of armored Draxian just went flying through the air and landed in a heap next to Vex. "Stand down!" someone was screaming. Might have been me, actually. Hard to remember. "Stand down or we will open fire." Mara slowly turned to face the dozen plasma rifles now pointed at her. She was breathing hard, sweat and blood mixing on her face, but that smile never wavered. "Go ahead, but before you do, you should know something." "What?" That was definitely me speaking. My voice came out as more of a squeak than I intended. "I am not alone." The lights went out. Emergency lighting kicked in 2 seconds later, bathing everything in that red glow that somehow makes every situation feel more terrifying. In those 2 seconds of darkness, 3 more security officers went down. I heard the impacts, the grunts of pain, but I could not see how she did it. When the lights returned, Mara was holding a plasma rifle. One of our plasma rifles, and she was pointing it directly at Vex, who had managed to pull himself to his feet using the ruined tactical station. "Here is what happens next," she said, and despite everything, despite the fact that she was outnumbered 50-1 on a warship in deep space, she somehow had complete control of the situation. "You are going to let me walk off this ship, you are going to let me take a shuttle, and you are never, ever going to attack another human colony again." Vex laughed, actually laughed, purple blood bubbling from his broken mandibles. "Or what? You will shoot me? My crew will tear you apart." "Maybe," Mara shrugged. "Probably, actually. But I will kill you first. And you know what? I am okay with that trade. Are you?" The general's eyes narrowed. I could see him calculating, running through tactical scenarios in his head. He was wounded, yes, but he still had hundreds of soldiers on this ship. He could overwhelm her through sheer numbers. "I wonder." Mara continued, taking a step closer, the rifle never wavering. How many of your crew I can take down before someone finally gets me? 10? 20? Want to find out? That is when the whole ship shuddered. Not an attack, just a gentle rumble that meant something very large had just docked with us. Unauthorized docking, based on the alarm that started blaring. Mara's smile got even wider. Like I said, I am not alone. The bridge doors exploded inward, not opened. Exploded. And through the smoke came more humans. Maybe 30 of them, all armed, all wearing that same calm expression that Mara wore. The survivors from the colony transport ships, I realized. They had not fled. They had regrouped, and they had come back. The leader, a man with a scar running down the left side of his face, looked at Mara and nodded once. Took you long enough. Had to make a point first, she replied, still aiming at Vex. The general looked around at his bridge crew, at his soldiers who were now facing a group of humans who had just proven they could tear through military personnel like they were made of paper, and I saw something I never thought I would see on his face. Doubt. So, Mara's finger rested on the trigger. Do we have an agreement? The silence stretched out for what felt like an eternity. Vex's good hand clenched and unclenched. His tactical mind was probably running through every possible scenario, every possible outcome. Finally, he spoke. You will never make it off this ship alive. Maybe not. The human with the scar chambered around in his weapon with this metallic click that somehow sounded more threatening than any roar. But we will take a whole lot of you with us. And then more humans will come, and more, because that is what we do, General. We survive, we adapt, and we never, ever forget. I watched Vex's face, watched the realization slowly dawn on him. This was not a battle he could win, not really. Even if he killed every human on his bridge right now, more would come. The humans would make him a symbol, a target, and they would never stop hunting him. Never stop until they had their revenge. You know what is really funny? In all his centuries of military service, conquering species and claiming systems, Vex had never encountered something quite like this. Species fought for territory or resources or survival. But humans, they fought for principle. They fought because someone told them they could not. They fought because of spite, just like Mara said. Shuttle Bay 3, Vex finally growled. Take a shuttle and go. And the colonies, Mara pressed. No more attacks. His jaw worked, mandibles clicking despite the damage. No more attacks on human settlements. You have my word. Your word. Mara lowered the rifle slightly. Is that worth anything? It is worth everything, Vex replied. And despite everything, I believed him. Draxians do not break their oaths. Ever. It is literally the only thing about us that is more stubborn than humans. Mara studied him for a long moment, then nodded. Okay then. She gestured to her people. Let's go. They moved as a unit, backing toward the ruined bridge doors, weapons trained on us the entire time. None of us moved. None of us dared, because we had all just learned something important about humans. They might look soft, they might seem vulnerable, but push them hard enough. Threaten what they care about, and they transform into something primal and terrifying. As they disappeared through the doorway, Mara paused and looked back at Vex one last time. By the way, she said conversationally, that thing about us hunting each other, that was not just history. Some of us still do it. For fun. Just thought you should know. Then she was gone. The bridge remained silent for several seconds after they left. Finally, Vex slumped against the tactical station, purple blood still dripping from his ruined face. Sir? I approached carefully. Should we pursue them? He looked at me with those predator eyes that had seen 1,000 battles. No. But sir, the Empire will. The Empire. Vex interrupted, his voice hard. Will understand that some battles are not worth fighting. Some enemies are not worth making. He touched his broken mandibles gingerly. Order all battle groups to avoid human space. Permanently. Sir, that is a massive tactical concession. The Council will. The Council was not here. He straightened up, wincing. They did not see what I saw. That human, that girl, she was ready to die. More than ready. She wanted it, as long as she could take me with her. You cannot defeat an enemy like that. Not really. You can only survive them. I wanted to argue, but looking around at the destroyed bridge, at the injured crew members, at the general himself beaten and bloodied by one human in less than 60 seconds, I realized he was right. We had won the battle for Colony 17. We had claimed another system for the Empire, but we had lost something more important. We had lost our sense of invincibility, because now we knew the truth about humans. They might be soft, they might be small, but they were absolutely, terrifyingly, undeniably dangerous when you pushed them too far. From somewhere in the ship, I heard the shuttle launch, carrying Mara and her people away to whatever future awaited them. I wondered if this was really over, or if it was just beginning. Vex seemed to read my mind. "Get me medical attention," he ordered. "And someone contact command. Tell them we need to revise our intelligence reports on humans, significantly." "What should we tell them, sir?" He was quiet for a moment, staring at the view screen that showed the shuttle disappearing into the black. "Tell them," he finally said, "that we made a mistake. Tell them that humans do not surrender. They do not break. They just get angry. And tell them that if we ever threaten them again, they will burn down the entire galaxy to make us pay for it." I nodded slowly, understanding, beginning to dawn. This was not just about one colony or one battle anymore. This was about survival, ours specifically, because we had just learned the hard way that in a universe full of claws and fangs and scales, sometimes the most dangerous predator is the one that looks like prey. 3 months passed after that incident on the terminus. 3 months during which the Draxian Empire pretended nothing had changed, while simultaneously redirecting every single fleet away from human territories. Officially, this was described as a strategic redeployment. Unofficially, everyone with half a brain knew we were running scared. I got promoted, which was weird. Apparently, surviving an encounter with humans was considered a valuable experience now. They made me liaison officer for the newly created Human Relations Department. Yes, we created an entire department just to avoid making the same mistake twice. That should tell you how seriously Command took what happened. But here is the thing nobody talks about. After Mara and her people left the terminus, after Vex gave his oath, we all thought that was the end of it. We thought humans would go back to their colonies, rebuild, and everyone would maintain a healthy distance from each other. We were so incredibly wrong. The first sign came 2 weeks after the incident. A Draxian supply depot near the border of human space just vanished. Not destroyed, vanished. The entire facility, 1,500 personnel, gone without a trace. No distress signal, no debris, nothing. One day it was there, next day it was not. Then a patrol cruiser went dark, then another depot, then 3 more ships. Command tried to keep it quiet, but rumors spread faster than light speed in the military. People whispered about ghost ships crewed by dead aliens. Some said it was a human secret weapon. Others claimed Mara had somehow become something more than human, a vengeful spirit haunting our fleets. The truth turned out to be both simpler and more terrifying. I found out when they sent me to investigate the most recent incident. A research station orbiting a gas giant, completely stripped of all biological matter, buildings intact, systems running, food still warm in the mess hall, but every single Draxian, all 200 of them, just gone. Except someone had left a message, written in Draxian script, painted on the wall of the command center in what I really hoped was not blood. "You broke your oath." That was it. 4 words that made my blood turn to ice. I immediately contacted command. "What oath?" "Vex swore we would not attack human colonies. We have not attacked any human colonies." The response took 6 hours to come back, which told me they were frantically checking records. When it finally arrived, the transmission was flagged with the highest security clearance. 4 days after the Terminus incident, the message read, "Battle Group 7 engaged a human transport near Sector 41. The transport was destroyed, with all hands. 47 civilians confirmed dead. Battle Group 7 reported it as a navigational accident. Investigation pending." I stared at that message for a long time. 47 dead humans, a broken oath, And now we had installations vanishing and personnel disappearing. The humans were hunting us. 2 days later, I got new orders. Report to Forward Station Kestrel for a diplomatic meeting. The humans had requested negotiations, and apparently I was now the Empire's official representative because I had survived Mara, and therefore must understand them. Military logic at its finest. Forward Station Kestrel sat right on the border between our space and theirs. A neutral zone established back when we still thought humans were just another minor species to be absorbed or eliminated. The station could hold maybe 5,000 personnel, had decent shields, and enough weapons to hold off a small fleet. I arrived with an escort of 6 ships and 200 soldiers. Standard diplomatic protection. The humans arrived in a single transport. Unarmed, according to our scans. With a crew of maybe 20, Mara was the first one off. She looked different now. Not physically, but there was something in the way she moved, the way she looked at everything, like she was calculating exactly how to destroy it. She wore simple clothes, nothing military, but somehow that made her more threatening, like she did not need armor or weapons because she was the weapon. Officer Kelvin. She remembered my name. Why did she remember my name? Good to see you again. Wish I could say the same, I muttered, then caught myself. That came out wrong. I mean, it is good that we are talking instead of fighting. Her smile was cold. Is it? Because from where I stand, we are still fighting. You just do not realize it yet. We met in Conference Room 7, a circular space with a table that could seat 30 and view screens showing the starfield outside. Mara sat down casually, her team flanking her. The human with the scar from the terminus, whose name I learned was Marcus Flynn, stood directly behind her like a guardian statue. I sat across from them, my own security detail hovering nervously by the door. Let me be direct, I began, trying to keep my voice steady. The disappearances, the missing stations, that is you, correct? Correct, Mara confirmed without hesitation. Why? General Vex gave his word, no more attacks on human settlements. And then Battle Group 7 destroyed the transport Meridian Hope 4 days later. Her eyes locked onto mine. 47 civilians, 12 children. Tell me, Officer Kelvin, was that part of the agreement? That was an accident, a navigation error. Really? She leaned forward. Because our recovered flight data shows that your ships fired deliberately. Shows that they ignored distress signals, shows that they watched life pods deploy and shot those too, just to make sure nobody survived. The room went very quiet. I did not know, I said honestly. Command classified it as an accident. Of course they did. Marcus spoke for the first time, his voice gravelly. Because admitting they murdered civilians would mean admitting they broke the oath, would mean admitting that humans have every right to respond. So you are taking revenge, killing our people. No. Mara's response surprised me. We have not killed anyone, yet. I blinked. But the missing personnel, the vanished stations, relocated. She gestured to one of her team members who activated a holographic display. It showed coordinates, facility layouts, personnel manifests. Every Draxian we have taken is alive and unharmed. They are being held at a secure location until we resolve this situation. Relief flooded through me, followed immediately by confusion. Why? Why not just kill us like we killed your people? Because, Mara said quietly, we are not you. We do not murder civilians. We do not break oaths. And we do not kill prisoners of war unless we have absolutely no other choice. She paused. But make no mistake, if this is not resolved, if your people keep pretending the Meridian Hope never happened, then we will stop being nice. What do you want? Justice. The word hung in the air like a blade. The commander of Battle Group 7, Admiral Krex, turned over to human custody to stand trial for war crimes. Formal acknowledgement from the Draxian Empire that they broke the peace, and reparations for the families of the dead. I felt my stomach drop. Command will never agree to that. Turning over an admiral? Admitting fault? You are asking us to humiliate ourselves. No, Marcus interjected. We are asking you to take responsibility. There is a difference. And if we refuse, Mara stood up slowly. Then we continue. More stations disappear, more ships go dark, and eventually we stop taking prisoners. We have been very, very patient so far, Officer Kelvin. We have been trying to do this the right way, the civilized way, but our patience has limits. You are threatening war against the entire Draxian Empire. No. Her smile returned, that same terrifying calm I remembered from the terminus. We are promising war against the entire Draxian Empire if necessary, against the entire galaxy if that is what it takes. Because here is what you still do not understand about humans. She walked around the table until she was standing directly in front of me. I tried not to flinch. We already lost everything, she continued softly. My colony, my home, my family, all gone, turned to glass by your bombardment. The people you see here, they all lost everything too. We have nothing left to lose, which means we have nothing to fear. You cannot threaten us with death because we stopped caring about dying the moment you murdered our loved ones. Her hand moved to her pocket, and every weapon in the room immediately pointed at her. She ignored them completely, pulling out a small data chip. This contains the location of all your missing personnel, proof they are alive, and our terms for their release. You have 72 hours to respond. After that, she placed the chip on the table. After that, we start making examples. Examples of what? Of what happens when you break your word to humans. Of what happens when you think you can murder us and walk away clean. Of what happens when you forget that we are not prey anymore. She turned to leave, her team falling into formation around her. Wait, I called out. She paused but did not turn around. Why me? Why did you ask for me specifically? Because you listened on the terminus. When I spoke, you actually heard what I was saying. Most of your people just heard noise. Now she looked back, and for just a second, I saw something other than cold determination in her eyes. Sadness, maybe. I am hoping you will listen again now. I am hoping you will make your leaders understand that this does not have to end in blood, that we can find another way. And if I cannot convince them, then I guess we will see each other again under less pleasant circumstances. She walked to the door, then paused one more time. For what it is worth, I hope you succeed. You seem like a decent person, Kelvin. It would be a shame to have to kill you. Then they were gone, leaving me alone with my security detail and a data chip that contained the future of Draxian-human relations. I reported everything to command immediately, transmitted the chip contents, explained the situation, stressed that the humans were offering a peaceful resolution despite having every right to demand blood. The response came back within an hour, which was fast even for command. Demand rejected. No Draxian officer will be turned over to alien justice. No admission of fault will be issued. Human terrorists will release prisoners immediately or face military consequences. I read that message 3 times, hoping I had misunderstood. But no. Command was really that stupid. They were really going to throw away the chance for peace because of pride. I did something then that probably ended my career, but might have saved my life. I sent a message directly to Mara using the contact frequency she had provided. They said no. I am sorry. I tried. What happens now? Her response came back immediately. Now you run. Get everyone you care about away from the border stations. You have 48 hours. 48 hours until what? Until you find out why every species in the galaxy should fear humanity when we stop playing nice. I did not waste time. I called in every favor I had, pulled every string, and got my family transferred to the core systems far away from human space. I warned everyone who would listen that something bad was coming. Most ignored me, called me paranoid, said I had let one encounter with humans make me irrational. 47 hours later, it started. Battle Group 7, the same group responsible for destroying the Meridian Hope, was on patrol near Sector 41. 15 ships, including Admiral Krex's flagship, the Devastator, enough firepower to level a small moon. The humans hit them with 4 ships. Just 4. Outdated cruisers that should not have stood a chance against military-grade Draxian vessels. The battle lasted 8 minutes. When it was over, the Devastator was intact, but dead in space. Life support failing, engines offline. The other 14 ships were scattered wreckage, and broadcasting on every frequency, in every language used in the sector, was a simple message. This is the human vessel Meridian's revenge. We have captured Admiral Krex and his senior staff. They will stand trial for war crimes. Any attempt at rescue will result in the immediate execution of all prisoners and the destruction of the Devastator. You have been warned. Command went ballistic, launched 3 battle groups to rescue the Admiral. The humans destroyed 2 of them and captured most of the 3rd. Just like that, we went from having numerical superiority to watching our forces evaporate against an enemy that fought like demons possessed. How were they doing it? How were 4 outdated human ships taking down entire battle groups? I found out when I accessed the tactical reports from the few survivors. The humans were not using superior technology or overwhelming firepower. They were using psychology. They knew exactly how we thought, knew our tactical doctrine, knew that Draxian commanders always followed protocol, always did things by the book. So the humans did the opposite. They used suicide runs that no sane commander would authorize. They targeted support ships instead of capital vessels. They exploited every single assumption we made about how space battles were supposed to work. And they were winning. Within a week, the Draxian Empire had lost control of 6 entire sectors. Not because the humans took them, but because our own forces retreated rather than face an enemy that refused to die. Command finally got smart. They contacted me again. Officer Kelvin, you are ordered to arrange another meeting with the human terrorists. Inform them we are willing to negotiate. I wanted to laugh. Wanted to scream at them that I had tried to tell them this would happen, but instead I just sent the message to Mara. Her response was almost instant. Tell your command that negotiations are closed. Admiral Krex stands trial in 2 days. The verdict will be broadcast on all frequencies. If the Draxian Empire interferes, we will consider it an act of war and respond accordingly. They will never accept that. I sent back. Then they better get used to losing. The trial happened as scheduled, broadcast live across the sector, impossible to jam or block. 3 judges, all human survivors from various colonies. Evidence presented methodically, coldly, including flight recorder data from the Meridian Hope that showed everything. The screams of the passengers as plasma fire tore through the hull, the pleas for mercy as life pods were targeted, the laughter from Battle Group 7's bridge as they watched life signs flatline. Admiral Krex defended himself by saying he was following orders, that the humans had been designated hostile, that it was war. The judges listened patiently. Then they delivered the verdict. Guilty on all counts. 47 counts of murder, multiple counts of violating the rules of war. Sentence: execution. But here is where it got interesting. They did not kill him. Instead, they gave him a choice. You can die here and now becoming a martyr for your people, the lead judge said, or you can spend the rest of your life working to make amends, building homes for the families you destroyed, teaching others why what you did was wrong, living with the weight of your actions every single day. Krex chose life, maybe out of cowardice, maybe out of genuine remorse. I do not know. But the message was clear. Humans did not want vengeance. They wanted justice. They wanted accountability. They wanted the galaxy to know that you could not murder their people and walk away clean. Command got that message loud and clear. 3 days later, they issued a formal apology, acknowledged the Meridian Hope incident, offered reparations, and most importantly, they updated the standing orders regarding human contact. Humans are to be treated as equals. All hostilities are forbidden without explicit authorization from High Command. Violators will face court-martial. The war ended as quickly as it started. The humans released all prisoners, returned control of the sectors they had taken, and went home. But nothing was the same after that. Every species in the galaxy learned the same lesson we did. Humans look soft. They seem reasonable. They will try diplomacy first, second, even third. But push them too far, threaten what they love, break your word to them, and they will tear down the stars themselves to make you pay. I see Mara sometimes in the diplomatic corps meetings. We maintain an uneasy peace now, humans and Draxians. We trade, we talk, We even cooperate on some ventures. But I never forget what I learned on the terminus and at Forward Station Kestrel. The most dangerous human is not the one who wants to kill you. It is the one who has nothing left to lose and all the time in the world to make sure you regret everything. General Vex was right. You cannot defeat an enemy like that. You can only survive them and hope desperately that you never give them a reason to stop being reasonable. Because when humans stop being reasonable, when they let go of civilization and embrace that ancient predator lurking in their DNA, they become something unstoppable. They become what they were always meant to be, the apex predators of the galaxy. And we are all just prey who got lucky enough to be left alive.